All right, guys. We just declared our live stream in the Geometry Gurus Gold um, Facebook group. I just want to say welcome to the live stream for those of you guys tuning in. Let's go over today's most crucial topics. The most crucial topic we want to go over today is the top 5 most common SAT math mistakes that parents make. Okay, so I recently did a video about what the mistakes that students make, right? But this one is more aligned to the parents. So let's get straight into it, guys. Okay, understanding these can really make a big difference when you're doing your SAT math prep. Let's dive straight into it. Okay, the first mistake that parents make when it comes to SAT math is that they wait to the last minute to begin SAT prep. Okay, starting early allows ample time to, number one, identify where exactly are you the weakest, master the concepts that they master the concepts that your student doesn't even know yet, and build that test confidence and reduce any test anxiety. Right? If you wait until like a month before the exam to start prepping, then I got bad news for you guys. You're not gonna have a good time. Okay, so you don't want to let procrastination limit your teen's potential. Okay, and most importantly, you want to make sure that you're giving your team plenty of time, right? So another thing parents like to say is like, hey, I want my team to finish pre-calculus before they do any sort of SAT math help. All right, I already did a video on my page saying why this is not the way you want to do this. So make sure you check out that video. If you guys are looking for that one, just send me a DM. I'll send you guys that as well. Because if you guys spend way too much time, waiting for pre-calculus, right? Waiting for, then you're just gonna miss out on really valuable time. Okay, and plus you don't even need pre-calculus to do well in the exam. Okay, so that's a little bit about that, right, guys? Don't start too late for SAT math, right? You don't know how many calls I get on with parents and stuff like that. They're like, hey, Jared, right? I'm taking I want my team to increase their SAT by 200 points. Right? I'm like, okay, that's definitely possible with the right amount of help. When is he looking? When is he taking the exam? Oh, he takes it next week. How are you supposed to do anything in a week, right? And then they'll say things like, it's like, oh, you don't have a crash course. Oh, it's like, he's a very smart guy and he got a good score. He got a good score last time without any studying. I was like, what type of a miracle are you guys looking for? Okay, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying that it's not very probable, right, to be getting those types of gains in that amount of time. Okay, the next mistake that a lot of students or a lot of parents make is they push for quality over quantity. So many parents believe that, hey, doing more practice tests and doing more problems equals better scores. And to a certain point, yeah, you're a little bit correct, but it's not about the quantity of the problems, it's about the quality of the problems, right? Because doing endless problems, doing endless practice exams without addressing the weaknesses only leads to a false sense of security. By the time they take the exam, they're going to be like, hey, what gives? I did all these practice problems, but I didn't get anything right. Right. The problem with that is that they spend way too much time working on things that they already know or they're already good at, and they don't focus on any of the things that they need to actually study for, right? Or they didn't focus on the things that they actually needed help in, that they were weak in, right? So yeah, focus on mastering concepts and mastering the weaknesses before diving into more practice problems, before diving into more practice tests. Okay. And we also did a training on this recently as well. Okay, so if you guys have any questions on that one, just make sure that you guys take a look at that one in the group as well. Okay, now the next thing that we want to talk about is the under reliance on calculators or shortcuts. That's the third thing, right? A lot of parents are like, you shouldn't use the calculator. You shouldn't learn how to use the calculator. You should brute force all your problems. You should teach your kids the hard way, right, of doing these problems, right? That should be further from the case, guys. Since the new digital SAT math uses Desmos, now it is more important than ever to encourage your team to learn how to use it, okay? If your team neglects how to use the calculator, if they neglect how to use shortcuts for the exam, they're going to lose valuable time on the exam from trying to brute force problems. Okay, if they brute force their problems, right, they're gonna miss out on, let's say for example, it takes them to, there's a problem that they could have solved in 30 seconds. They took 2.5 minutes. Now, all of a sudden, for the more difficult problems where you do have to brute force it math a little bit, they're going to be in very, very big trouble. Okay, so you got to make sure you know how to use Desmos. You got to make sure you use the shortcuts, right? Because why wouldn't you, right? It's like this is an exam. You only get points for right answers. You don't get points for the process. Okay. The next thing we want to talk about is ignoring time management. So guys, time management is not a crutch. It is a skill, okay? The SAT isn't just about math skills, it's about strategy as well, okay? So managing time, understanding the test format, and knowing when to skip questions are crucial. Okay, a lot of parents are like, hey, I just want them to know the concepts. I just want them to know how to do these problems. The problem is, right, it's like when they take the actual exam, yeah, they know how to do it with no pressure, right? But there's a lot of pressure on the exam, right? So you got to make sure that, they implement the right strategies, right? Because even the brightest students can struggle on these time management questions, right? Because again, they only work on the concepts. They don't work on, doing timed problems. They don't work on, managing their time. They don't know when to skip problems, right? Because guess what? If you don't know how to skip problems properly, then the exam problems that they could have done that they're going to lose out on that one as well. Because the SAT, they don't like to put all their hard questions at the end. They like to sprinkle them through. So then let's say you spend 5 minutes on one problem. There's a bunch of problems that you could have done that you should have moved on to instead of just staying there. Okay. Now the next problem that a lot of parents they don't focus on is they neglect test anxiety. Okay, anxiety is that silent score killer. Okay, many parents they overlook this. They focus only on the academics. Again, they only focus on the concepts. They only focus on how do you do the problems rather than the mental aspect of the exam as well. Building confidence through simulated test experience and stress management techniques is essential for success. If anything, it's actually more important than actually knowing the concepts itself, because when you're panicking, when you're anxious, you default to where you are when you're scared, right? And a lot of these students, if they're scared, then they're gonna have they're gonna default to making silly mistakes. They're gonna default to trying to brute force method. They forget the shortcuts. They forget the strategies that they learned, right? Because they start to panic. Okay, so you can't. It's not enough to be conceptually prepared. You got to be mentally prepared as well. Okay, so how the Math Guru method helps with this. The first thing we do here is we discover and we enhance. We start with a complete diagnostic to identify your team's strengths and weaknesses. Right. This targeted approach it ensures efficient learning, focusing on areas that need the most attention. Okay. So next thing you want to do is apply and practice. Right. Using real SAT problems, you got to provide laser targeted practice for your team and consistent feedback as well, using real problems that simulate the same types of problems that your team is struggling with right now. Okay. Now, this approach ensures your team masters each concept before moving on and makes learning engaging and effective because you're constantly evolving on what your team needs to work on the most. Okay. The last thing you want to do is simulate success. Using real, regular test simulations, you got to prepare your team not just academically but also mentally. Right. This reduces anxiety and builds confidence for test day. Okay. Now, guys, you don't need to settle for those scattered study methods, right? That dilute your team efforts, right? You're like, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit unfocused, right? Focusing only on the concepts, right? It doesn't need to be this way. The Math Guru method focuses on targeted, efficient learning and ensures that they can secure admission to their dream colleges without the stress and without the burnout of traditional prep methods. Okay. Now, if you guys are ready to see your team conquer the SAT with confidence and ease, all you need to do is DM me now to learn more about how the Math Guru method can unlock your team's potential. And then from there, we can turn those struggles into triumphs, and we can make those 100-point improvements together. Okay, make it a reality. All right, guys. Well, I hope today was helpful for you guys. I hope you guys understand, kind of what's kind of going on with, the types of problems that a lot of parents face and how we can potentially move forward with that. I see some viewers in the chat right now. Do you guys have any questions for me before we wrap up the stream? Any questions? It doesn't need to be about the common things that parents typically see. All right, it could be any type of questions regarding the SAT. Okay, I'm gonna hang out here for about a little bit. I see a few people just chilling in the stream right now. Let me know, and then you know, I can see where I can get you guys some quick wins. Okay. Anybody? If not, guys, you can just leave a comment down below on this live stream when it goes live, and then I will go ahead and I'll make a video, or I will, you know, you can just DM me with any questions that you have, guys. Okay. With that being said, thanks guys so much for that. Make sure you guys aren't procrastinating. Make sure, you know, with your SAT math prep, make sure that, you know, you're not waiting until the last minute. Make sure that they're not, you know, waiting until Algebra 2 or for waiting to finish pre-calculus for them to, you know, get the help that they need. Okay. Regardless, guys, have a great rest of your day. I will be giving you guys a little bit, some free information, some more. But yeah, guys, thanks a lot for your time. I will see you guys in the next live stream. Okay. Oh, well, unless somebody, I saw another person join. You guys have any questions or anything like that? This live stream will be posted. Nope. Okay. If you guys are typing or something like that, make sure you press like a 1 on the chat or something like that, so that way I know. If not, guys, I'll see you guys later. Yeah, and you got a lot of good stuff coming for you guys later on. All right, take it easy.